Hey guys, it's Dan and Melissa and Tim, and we're going to talk about the Wonder Years. We're up to season 4 of the, so we're halfway through now of the 6-season series. We sort of hit the great season 3 last time, kind of downhill from there, but I think little by little. I don't think this is a huge epic shift, but Tim didn't even star any of these episodes, so not a fan, I guess.
I didn't have time to go through them
I know.
and do that process of starring. I have 2 that I would have starred.
Okay.
It's so hard with this season because I felt like there was never a full episode I wanted to be like, yes, this stood out. There were scenes in an episode where I was like, okay, now you've redeemed yourself.
Interesting.
Now this has gotten interesting, but like
Okay.
overall, I don't know.
Well, you
It was
guys
really
have
a
just
different
binged
feel.
this in the last week or so.
Yes.
Whereas I just finished watching season 5 today, so I can give that to Tim. So you may have to refresh me a little bit on the specifics of this season, but I know Kevin enters high school.
No.
Oh, that's right. They have the graduation at the end of this
eh,
season.
Yes, graduation.
So I don't
from
know
ninth
that,
grade.
actually.
I mean,
Okay.
typically...
But right, I always
Like,
think of that because
yeah.
my high school
Yes.
started in 9th grade.
Yes. Same as mine.
But yes, they have the end of this one. All right, so I guess we'll sort of a little bit go episode by episode like we did last time. But Melissa, you said that you did some research about the filming.
Yes.
That you wanted to tell us.
We had talked about where did they go to the beach last season? Is this Anytown America? Obviously, they're filming in California. We'd found out, I said it was called Seal Beach, I believe
I think
said
that's what
to
you said to me, yeah.
And it's in California, which is a little north of Santa Monica. It's farther north than we thought. But then I was researching about how they wanted it to feel like Anytown America, but some of the creators, and they're actually from New York, Long Island in New York, and grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Oh,
So, and
that's right near your neck of the woods.
yes, both of those places
Yeah.
I actually more familiar with. And so then we're going to see some episodes later on. We see the road trip episode, and they get lost, and they name a bunch of different routes. I went and researched all the routes to
Oh.
see, okay,
Where
is
they
this,
went. Okay.
where is this making sense? And the whole New York, possibly over Pennsylvania, that sort of corridor, this East Coast corridor, is what makes the most sense, and still, which then works with the Ocean City
And the Jets jacket,
thing,
like
and the
you
Jets
said last time,
jacket.
yeah.
And
So
then they go to a field trip this season, right?
they go to the field trip to
And that
museum.
I assume that was like Washington D.C.
Oh,
which
Oh.
I would say is within driving distance of.
it
Yeah.
is,
Like-
and they're on the bus. I don't
Yeah.
remember how long they were on the bus. Yeah, I didn't really put that together.
So it's a bit more East Coast than
I think
we
so.
originally thought.
I mean, the only issue is you've got the architecture and the license plates and the licenses. And
Oh yeah, what are the
actual-
wait? What's on the cars? What's on the license plates?
I think they do say California, but they don't look like they don't look like current California plates.
Well, no, they wouldn't.
They're like blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I tried to
I'll have
look,
to
and they
look
were
at
too
that.
far away, and I couldn't really see.
Blue and yellow, that could be PA.
Could be PA.
That's true. And then when
Old
we
school
go
PA.
to the very last episode, where we have sort of an overlook, it's obviously California desert.
Well,
So
yes,
it's
they
that
didn't quite film
classic,
as
we can't drive in the
Right.
same location as we're saying the setting is, but I really do believe that they're setting us up for some kind of
That's interesting.
East Coast
Okay.
area.
Well, that speaks to us then
Inland.
for sure. We're all East Coast.
Yeah.
All right, so the first episode of this season, so we're in 1990 now. This is the 1991 TV season. So Growing Up is the first episode. And this is
Company Picnic.
the company picnic, Deadwood.
We had some great guest stars.
Oh yeah, Soleil Moon Frye as the daughter of the coworker.
And I
they
kind
sort of have a little
forgot
thing.
who she was at first, and I was like, "Oh, that girl was in Saved by the Bell, another Saved by the Bell person," because she plays just a little guest star in.
That's
that.
how you know Soleil Moon Frye.
Because I didn't watch. Punky
dear.
Brewster.
I didn't watch Punky Brewster.
So that was I noticed her first from that, and I was like, "Who was that?" And I was
did
like, "Oh, wow."
watch
that's-
You know the new Punky Brewster.
No, I didn't watch that either.
all
But
right.
I watched her documentary thing.
Oh,
Okay.
Kid 90,
where-
okay.
where, I think
And
they
this is
actually,
right in that era.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
talked about how
And she
like
talks about her breasts
Yeah,
being so
yeah.
big, and yeah.
yeah.
Which they
I think
they play a clip,
yeah they played a clip from Wonder Years.
Wow.
That's the whole shtick of this.
That's
so-
right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So this is this really sets up our season here. So Wayne drives separately, because he's being independent. He wants to be with the girlfriend. Nobody wants to go to this thing except Norma. One of my favorite Norma line reads in the whole series is when she mentions it. Everybody's like, "Oh, I don't want to do that. That sounds horrible. Oh, what a joke. I think we'll go."
See, I loved it
I
when
love
she
that.
was in the car listing, "Oh, this person. They're all
Yeah,
dead,
that's right.
fired,
yeah.
transferred." None of these.
Nobody
people
they
are
know are
going
gonna
to
be there
it.
except
I'm
for
like,
this Deadwood
oh,
guy.
Man, this is I've done that. I've been to a company picnic and
Yeah, I went to a few of my dad's when I was a kid. I don't really remember them, but we did play baseball. I remember that.
I don't think I went to a company picnic. I went to like some family picnics. And
Okay,
it
like family
definitely-
reunion kind
Yeah,
of thing.
it definitely felt like a good vibe of this. Like
Yeah.
I felt they had a good vibe of a family.
Yeah,
picnic and
like
stuff.
all the charred food right off the grill, and then of course Kevin gets mad that he can't play in the baseball game, so then he beams his father. I like the ending of this one.
Yeah,
I-
good Jack.
Good Jack episode
Yeah.
again.
And I agree with what you say about setting us up, because I feel like we've got this whole Kevin trying to push the envelope of independence, and I am no longer a child.
Yep.
Throughout, we'll see that. You've got, Wayne's doing his own thing a lot. We see that. And we also, the whole dad and his work, that's going to be a whole thread about new job and different things. So
Well, and Norma trying to hold on to the past yet again.
Yeah.
yes.
When everybody else is sort of trying to move forward. So, yeah, I thought that was a good one. All right, so now he starts ninth grade. This was one of the Daniel Stern directed episodes of the season.
And Winnie is at a different school.
So, that's right. Winnie went to a different school because, I guess, of the divorce, right?
No, they moved.
They
They
moved.
Oh,
moved.
that's
at the,
right.
That was the big thing at the end of last season, season 3, was that Ken was afraid that they were going to move.
Right.
But then
really it was the Coopers.
Winnie, they moved 4 miles away, so they're going to different schools. She's going to Lincoln.
Yeah.
And, so
Which factors in heavily in the museum episode,
Yes.
of course. All right, so yeah, what happens in this one? Well, we meet Madeline.
we meet Madeline Adams.
Hot Madeline.
Becky Slater is still around.
Slater's
being
there again.
obnoxious.
But they do name drop the kid that you disliked. Why he's not in this season.
Yeah.
I forget what his name
Oh,
is.
I can't remember his name now, but they introduced some other people instead.
Yes.
Like he's pulled out.
They sort of slowly introduce all of these friends of his throughout the
and
season.
he's really going to have a really core friend group. He's got the two tall,
Yes.
skinny guys. We've got Paul. You've got the bully who looks like he's about 30 and has the worst
Well, and they get switched up
Italian-American
again.
acting I've ever seen in my life.
bad.
Craig Hobson was the kid that
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that
said-
jerk.
Oh,
Yeah, we hate
goodness.
He
him.
went. He
Damn.
went to military school.
Thank goodness.
And-
Because he was a brat.
He was a brat,
He
and
needed it.
Becky Slater's mad at Kevin because they aren't together anymore, and he
And
kind
it's
of
his fault.
It's his fault because they kind of
course.
He kind of got them together a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that core group of friends, so this season, they're in a bunch of episodes.
Yes.
But then in season 5, it actually switches up again.
Oh, we're gonna have
So
new
we're going to
friends
see
again.
some different, some the same.
Well, I love how they all have sort of their own thing that they do in the group. Like
Yeah.
Kevin's kind of the straight man and not necessarily the voice of reason, because Paul is the voice of reason.
Yeah, but I think
But
he's the
like-
ringleader, basically.
You think Kevin's the ringleader?
Yeah, I think whatever he says, they usually do, right?
I think he's not the ringleader. I think they look to him for approval.
I think
like
he's
other,
like the actual moral
other
compass.
people,
Okay.
other people come up with the idea or the scheme,
Yeah.
And he'll tell them if it's done.
And either he tells them we're going, or he just kind of like, okay, well, I'll go along with it.
Or
like,
I'm not gonna do that, guys.
like the
but
like
they
the beer episode.
But they kind of push it anyway, and then he kind of like sometimes just like as soon as he's like, okay, yeah, and like then
they do it.
Then they do it.
And again, we're seeing this from Kevin's point of view and his
Yes.
flashback.
Yeah,
he
that's
might
true.
seem more like a ringleader.
I guess that's
because
true.
it's his
Yeah.
memories. But it's an interesting group, an interesting dynamic.
All right, so now that we're on the Madeline episode here, let's sort of
first
do her
Madeline.
arc, because she's
All right,
she's
so
sort
we
of
see
in and
her
out of
here.
few of these episodes.
She is the French class friend.
Yes, the French class hottie. And for some reason, which I don't find entirely believable, she is just super into Kevin, and
I do think he's like one of the better looking guys.
yeah, he is, but he's not like, it's not like he's popular. Like he's, him and his group of friends are kind of nerdy. I don't
think
know.
I'd call them nerdy.
You don't
They're kind
think?
of like everyman kind
I
of guys.
guess.
They're just sort of average Joes besides
All right.
Paul's the brain. Everybody else is just sort of average. They're not
Well,
popular because we do the
they're not
whole
popular.
yearbook thing.
They're
and
definitely
he's
not popular.
Popular. And I think part of his whole thing is he is obviously shorter than everyone.
Yeah.
Like it gets
Yeah,
more
he's pretty
and more
short.
obvious. And I know too,
Especially
did
next
you
to Paul.
say that last time that Danica McKellar, they like split them up because they needed to catch up in height? Who was that who said
Oh,
that?
well, I knew that, so maybe I said it.
Somebody
But
said
that
and there's
that did happen.
yeah, and it was
Because
just
at one
keeps
point
looking
she was like
shrimpier.
almost a foot taller
he
than
just
him.
looks shrimpier and shrimpier in the
Yes,
hallways. Like they
God
had to get
bless
them out
him.
of the school because
Yeah.
those few months there, I was like,
And
oh
I feel like
my.
Madeline kind of towers over
Oh
him.
yeah,
Yeah,
she
well,
was
right?
tall.
Well, the actress playing Madeline is like 19.
Is she?
Yes,
I didn't
yes,
look that
she
up.
was a
She
bit
definitely
older.
looks a lot. I don't think a lot older, but definitely a significant amount
Yes.
older.
All right, well
But
now I know why the
but
kissing
I
seemed
think that's
inappropriate.
I think that's why she kind of like has this air of like unattainability towards like
Okay.
Kevin, is because
I can see that.
Education.
I can see
She
that.
doesn't seem a little bit more sophisticated, but I buy it that she kind of likes him because he was the only one that
He was
kind of,
very nice to her.
he
in the
was very
beginning.
nice to her. He was
Yes.
the only one talking to her. So
Yeah, it's believable.
I kind of it's believable. And I think this is. I don't think Kevin's being wishy-washy at all. Like he kind
No,
of
he
like,
likes her. That's for
I mean,
sure.
he's kind of tempted by her, but he also knows that he's with Winnie, and he
Yes.
doesn't do anything. Like,
yes, and
yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. I
Even though
like-
she tries.
she tries, and he's like, because it's not this episode, but it's the because she.
Yeah, I think
kisses
it's episode 5.
She kisses him out of the blue, and
It's
he's
a
just
Mad
like,
Mad Madeline world.
Yeah,
That's the one with the ID bracelet that
the
Winnie
ID
gives
bracelet.
in.
Oh,
He
what
leaves,
a-
he leaves it at her house.
couldn't believe
Madeline's
that
house.
she then brings it to him
At the
And
movie
At the
theater.
movie, I'm just
After he tried to get a
she's-
new one, he spent all this money on a new one.
You'll have to come get it from my house. She's quite the little operator.
See?
Yeah.
Tim?
Yeah,
This
she,
is-
she is a little opera, but at the end of that episode, the Mad Mad Madeline, I thought she kind of was like, okay, I see that he's with Winnie.
Yeah, she kinda
and-
overstepped her
and
bounds.
she's like, here, I believe you dropped this, and
That's it.
And
I,
fixed it.
I did. She won me over
Yes.
because I was really angry with
Yeah.
her until then.
Well,
I
yeah,
like,
she was being kind of a jerk.
Yeah,
and
this is not appropriate.
yeah, and we think Kevin is this amazing that we're just gonna, throw all our cards in on him, and or is it just that she thought she could get him and she liked the idea of that?
I think she is reading the chemistry a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not that he's not.
She's got to know she's
flirting.
beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think she thinks she can get him, and yeah.
All right.
Maybe
All right,
she
so that
thinks
was
he's
the
playing
ID
hard to get him.
episode. Let's see. We had.
and then she's in the heartbreak.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the museum? Okay, Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is. I think. I mean, we
She's in
see
4
Winnie.
episodes.
We see Winnie a little bit,
Yeah.
but this episode is very Winnie heavy.
Yes.
because her school and Kevin's school are going to the field trip at the same time.
Do we like Winnie and Kevin together? I know we're supposed to, but I feel like I was very uncomfortable this whole season.
At this juncture in season 4, I don't like them together.
Okay, that's where I was. I was
Yeah.
you know, I was like, I'm kind of over this.
What do you think, Tim?
Well, I like the concept of them together, but the fact that they're at different schools, you don't see them that often together. Like, it's kind of...
Yeah, like, they meet up a little bit after school here and there, but she's not in a lot of these episodes.
Yeah,
They
she's not in a
don't
lot.
bring out the best in each other in this season at all. She always makes him seem kind of like a crazy jealous jerk.
Right.
Who's doing, like, stalking kind of behaviors and just things that I don't care for. And then she is, like, kind of not nice to him a lot.
No, she's not. Because I think she is, you know, look, a whole nother school opens up a completely new set of friends and new set of people. And I think her world before the move, before the divorce, has just been so small.
Well, we have the whole brother dying thing, and I think they never really bring it up, but as we go through this episode and we see Winnie sort of deteriorate and fall apart with various things, I think that this is the underlying thing that no one's saying.
Well, no, they do. There's a line that I think that she says that they're going away for her brother's birthday, or what would have been her brother's birthday. And this is in the later episodes when she's kind of spiraling and doesn't really know what she wants to do.
Yeah. The car accident episode?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that one.
So Madeline is back to seduce him.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a two-parter here. This one and Denial are basically a two-parter. I think this is the one that has the to be continued at the bottom of at the end of the episode.
I don't feel like I noticed that, but maybe
It might not be on Hulu, ladies.
It might not be on there.
Oh wait, do you have your Hulu questions, or those are specific episodes?
They are specific episodes.
Okay.
Towards the end, I want to know about
the music.
2 things of music.
Okay.
Because they were so... they invoked so much feeling in me. I want to know if they actually are
interesting.
Part of the
Okay.
show.
So this is when Kevin is basically has to accept that, okay, Roger is the new boyfriend. We have to pretend to like him now. And then this is easily one of Kevin's worst ideas, is throwing the party for Winnie and her boyfriend. And he makes Paul have it at his house, ringleader, because Paul definitely does not want to do it.
Yeah.
But he does it.
But then he totally wants to do it. Like, as soon as it's like,
right.
As soon as it starts
it's in the
happening,
works.
As soon as the planning happens, Paul's all in.
yeah, because Kevin wants to cancel it because he finds out that Roger's coming with Winnie.
Yes.
Um.
Yeah, he was thinking that inviting Winnie would mean inviting Winnie,
Yeah.
not inviting Winnie and the man.
I think Paul's bored and needs something to do. Why do you think he's going to prep school later?
Listen,
He
I
needs-
think that's perfect.
He's like bringing cheese around to everybody. But
Yeah,
then,
I can see it.
He
Good
needs-
host.
He
Then-
needs something to do.
Yeah,
Then
It's
Kevin,
absolutely.
it's like,
Kevin decides that he doesn't want to go because Roger's going, and then Madeline kind of convinces him to take her with
Yeah.
him.
I'd see she's a little bit of a snake.
She is.
I know,
She
it's
kind of
nice.
wants, but then also at the end, like, she kind of realizes that Kevin's just trying to make Winnie jealous, and then she's
Yes.
like, "You have to choose." And then
She had to know that was going to be a
There's
mistake.
nothing really to
And
choose.
there's
She's with
nothing to
Roger.
choose.
I don't
Yeah.
know what, like, I don't know
and
what
then
choose.
Winnie
Well-
and Kevin have this big argument, and then Madeline's there, and Kevin just kind of like no, and blows her off,
Yeah.
and then we don't see Madeline again.
Yeah, this was, I guess, the last episode,
Yeah,
right?
Oh, do we not see her?
I know, I don't think she's in it anymore.
She's only in 4 episodes. She was in
Oh,
the
wow.
first
Yeah.
episode, the French
The
class,
Mad Madeline,
and
and
these
then
two.
these two.
These two.
Wow, I felt like it was a much bigger arc.
And
than
then that was it. Her character died.
This is not. I was surprised we
She
didn't see
moved
her.
away, yeah.
She moved back to France, or
I'm
whatever.
surprised we didn't see her
At
in
graduation.
graduation because they showed.
Oh,
lots of-
that's true.
They
They
showed
did.
a lot of
They
kids.
showed a ton of kids.
Yeah.
All right, so that's sort of the romantic storyline. So let's do some of these other episodes we jumped over here. More of the family episodes, maybe, or whatever. All right, so
Well, I feel like we've said previously that the family episodes seem stronger and the school episodes not as much necessarily. I didn't feel that way. I felt everything was sort of this kind of even,
okay,
like,
in a good way or a bad way?
I felt like everything kind of just went down a level.
Okay.
Like the really amazing family episodes kind of came down to the better school episodes, and the school episodes weren't as bad as maybe they kind of met in the middle for this. I don't
but last
mediocre,
season did give us the two best episodes of last season. One was school and one was home. Because you had the math teacher goodbye.
Oh, that's...
And then you had the home episode with the army pack.
That's true.
So, we all know season 3 is the best.
I haven't seen 5 and 6. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to fall in love with something.
Take my word.
I
all right,
liked
so this is the
3.
beer. This is the beer run episode.
I like that episode.
This has a lot of comedy in it.
Yes, a lot of comedy.
Very heavy on the comedy.
It's an early Superbad type of thing.
Actually, yeah. They're trying to get beer to this party. They're trying to get invited to the party. And they're like, well, if we can bring beer somehow, then we'll get invited to the party. It actually is super bad, basically.
Yeah. And I thought there were some good Paul moments. I thought there were some good Doug Porter.
Doug Porter.
I love
Doug.
that kid.
I love Doug.
Paul had some stand-up moments in this episode.
And
he was taking a stand for some things.
This is probably, I think, the most we do see Doug, like, as a major role in an episode.
Other than that episode where they, like, pretended to be friends with him.
He's not the main character, but he's around so much. He's good for a one-liner in the rest of the episode.
But I feel like he has a kind of a major role in this episode.
Okay.
I actually think I think this, starting with season 4, it does start to get actually a little bit funnier in the sense of a more traditional sitcom.
Okay.
Because the funny moments in the first few seasons are more like slice of life and these people are, but like Paul, he's got his stuff, but like you say, those first couple seasons, he's okay, we get it, you have allergies. Winnie's not very funny, God bless her. Good thing
I like her.
Good thing she went into Danica McKellar went into math. Humor, I'm not sure is her tops. So in this season, and starting really with the last season, this friend group kind of becomes like the comedic center of the show. And this is a very like classic sitcom type of situation with those kind of jokes. So I don't, it's not necessarily a bad thing at all, but I do think that the type of humor changes a little bit as we move on. And with Wayne's girlfriend as well, the Juliette Lewis character, like that's a little bit sort of sitcom-y, I guess.
I mean, I guess Doug does have a major part in the election.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like that has a little bit more with Becky Slater as well. So, but this is all the guys, all one night. Yeah. So it's main focus.
We haven't. I mean, the only time we really saw that before was when that was the Breckenmeyer episode where they go to the cave or whatever. That was stupid. The sewer.
Less,
but it was just Paul
less believable for sure. All right, so you like this one? This is one of your potentially starred episodes. Okay,
not for me. The next
I thought it was okay. I do like it.
One of my top episodes.
Okay, so this is the cost of living.
This was the golf caddying because I need more money.
Yep.
And Kevin
he ends up
caddying for his
dad's boss. Yeah.
While he's playing with his dad. It was
that's an intense one.
It was
another great Jack ending though.
Yeah.
Where he treats him to lunch and another real good one there.
Like Jack redemption story episodes.
They're all redemption. Yeah. That's the thing. Like Jack is such a hard ass and he's such a seemingly gruff person, but almost every like Jack focused episode there's this you see how much he loves his family, how much he puts out there, how much he's given up for his family every time. I mean, you see him, answering to the boss, and I forget the boss's name, but it's like, anything you say, Ken or whatever. Yeah.
I liked the way, Ken. I just liked the way it read. I liked the way it felt. I liked everybody's dynamic. It just felt realistic to me. I think. So anyway.
And I think is this Kevin's first job?
Yeah.
I think so.
Prior to this, he's getting allowance, and he's getting like $2.
Okay, right.
And Paul complains about getting $5.
Right. Well, Wayne gets more than Kevin too, so he doesn't like that. All right. Well, you like a good Jack episode.
Yeah, I
You like
kind
this
of
one?
I kind of forgot about this episode. So I would have started this one.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was just scrolling through like the names.
Yeah, the title doesn't
It's hard.
necessarily.
The
I
titles,
kinda
I
forgot
can't really
about-
remember. I
Yeah.
have to look.
Now, the title for this next one is
No,
for
we just-
sure. We did
oh,
the
we did the
Madeline.
Madeline.
already. The title for the next one tells you everything you need to know.
Yes.
Little Debbie, it's called. It's about Paul's sister having a
the
crush on
cotillion.
Kevin, the good old cotillion.
I was really I did not think Kevin was going to step up as much as he did end up stepping up in
He
this
did.
episode.
He did, but he's kind of a jerk at the beginning.
Yeah.
He really, really does not want to do it in typical fashion.
But they also forced him into it.
They forced him into it.
Paul forced
him into it.
So many things.
You're
this
right.
season.
Maybe Paul's the
election,
ringleader.
I
Oh,
feel
Paul's the
Paul-
ringleader, Tim. I was
really do
wrong.
feel like Paul
Damn
is
it.
like he's always like, this is what's happening. This is
You're
what
right.
we're doing. We're having this election.
Well,
all
because
this,
he's
like-
clearly the brains.
yes.
So I guess, when it comes to
And Paul
matters
is
of
going to
authority,
put his foot down about things when everyone else is
Yeah.
like, this is what we're doing. Paul's like, no, that's stupid. We're not doing that.
yeah,
But if he decides it's not stupid, like, it kind of goes off without a hitch. And Kevin is making the decision. Am I
I
joining
guess
or
that's
not?
true.
Yeah.
All right, well, Paul's the whole brains then.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this episode was okay, but then I did think that he did step it up a lot at the end when
Yeah,
he
that was
jumped
real
in
nice.
the pool.
And I think this is what I was thinking about,
Yeah.
like, when you've got a scene in an
Yeah.
episode that really makes
Okay.
it, like, I wasn't all in on this episode.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, and he gets the earring out of the pool and dives in his suit, I was just like, wow.
What a guy.
Yeah, that was
He really did it.
a lot.
Well, he didn't want to dance either. Like, he didn't know how to dance properly. And
He got it. He spent the whole money getting the picture taken, the 8x10 and a
I know.
12 wallets.
I
or
know.
whatever.
He was
It
very,
just,
very
it
nice
was just adorable.
person.
Yes.
I don't understand the fact that they're all supposed to. She's 2 years younger, and they all look like. I feel like I don't know the age difference thing.
She's in 7th grade.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're in 9th.
Yeah.
But I don't remember her looking.
She looks way
much-
younger.
Doesn't she look
She
way
looks.
younger?
Well-
she looks way younger.
She does, but then at the clip show that they had, that they showed young Kevin, and I was like, wow, he did age a lot.
Yeah,
Those 2
he
years.
really
I guess
did.
that's true.
Because
He still got his
bec-
little squeaky voice in
yeah.
the first season.
And I'm like, oh, Paul's grown up a
Paul
lot.
really is. grown.
Yeah,
So
Paul's really
I,
grown up.
I buy it.
Okay. Well, all the rest of the kids looked kind of small too.
Because they
so
were
I was
were all
okay.
7th graders and he
Yeah.
was the 9th
Right.
grader.
That's true. The 7th grade boys do. I think she just.
She was a little annoying.
She was annoying and childish in the
Yes.
clothes, and she
Yeah, it
was
seemed like
one
she
of
was
the-
younger than 7th grade.
Well,
for
she was
sure.
one of the less developed 7th grade girls, because the girls usually are taller than the
Yes.
guys, and the guys are still like, oh my gosh, 7th graders.
Yeah.
But I think maybe they probably cast someone a little bit younger so that she was smaller than Kevin.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, good point. He was very
Yes.
short.
Yes.
as we know.
Yes.
Now, I took a sister to a prom.
Did you?
Yes, my good old girlfriend. Her sister, I took to her senior prom. Because
That's
she couldn't
so
get a date
sweet.
and nobody wanted, and I knew the family and whatever, and they were like, do you want to go to the prom? And I was like, of course I do. Like, don't have to ask me twice. And yeah, we did it up. It was a lot of fun, but yeah,
couldn't
I
even
did
get
not
my
have
friend,
the...
my best friend decided he would rather go alone than take me to the prom.
Wow.
So I went with two other. I went with a gay guy, two gay friends, both years who they weren't telling people they were gay at the time. And then he ended up taking his picture with some other girl who he wouldn't go with her either. But then she had no one to take a picture with.
Oh my
And I was like, are you
God.
kidding me? Like,
So you didn't get a picture at all?
no, I got a picture
Oh,
with my
okay.
date.
Oh, okay.
And I had a date for both of the proms, but my friend who had no date
That's bizarre.
wouldn't go with me. I was like, this is ridiculous. You could have just.
I just went with a friend my senior year.
These were all friends.
Yeah.
I never had a date.
All right. Well, look, we've got a good family episode, a holiday episode,
Star.
Thanksgiving. I think the Christmas was probably my favorite of the season, but this one is another great family episode.
This was good.
This is where you mentioned Jack's promotion earlier.
Yes.
So this is where we really find out about that. He's going to have to travel a lot during Thanksgiving. Well, just in general, but
I
part of
think
that
it's
is
kind of fun with him
Thanksgiving.
having the promotion too. I think it gives
Yeah, it gives him
instead of
something a little different to do.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
You know?
Different to do.
The first 3 years, all we knew was, how was work,
Struggling,
Jack?
money,
Oh,
it's
work is
terrible.
work.
Yeah.
And now we see something a little different.
But it all starts with the fact that they needed a new stove for the kitchen, and then
Yes.
he needs a raise, and he gets a promotion, and then he's on the road he's supposed to be back in time for Thanksgiving, and then
Doesn't make it.
Doesn't make it.
And oh god, Norma setting the whole table and doing everything as if she was feeding an army.
Yeah. And
Is this how
that was
much food
so
they
heartbreaking.
usually have for this small number of people?
No, I think even in the voiceover, it seemed like she was going overboard, right?
Yeah.
For what she usually
and when
does.
Jack he had to leave right away, he kind of rushes out the door. They don't have like a really long kiss goodbye.
Yeah.
But then when he comes off that plane.
Yep.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was a nice
That was
episode.
nice.
I liked
But
it.
but here's the thing. So with the traveling, like when you think about Norma, other than the pottery episode, which obviously she didn't continue with the pottery, her whole life is this family.
Yeah.
So now, okay, the boys are growing up, Wayne's driving, Kevin's, trying to get jobs, and now she can't even feed her husband. Like, I think that's why she went so overboard on the dinner.
Well, and I think that's why now later on we're going to see her try and go to work. So
Right.
we got some other things for her to do because
I
she
think
doesn't
she
have
feels a bit
a child
helpless
anymore. I actually think the next two episodes were almost even better.
Yeah, the
honest.
Christmas one I
thought
love that
this
we'll
was
talk
a
about in a
good-
second. But the Sixth Man is the Paul basketball episode. This one's really good
This
too.
was
It's a good episode.
Yeah, this is another really good one.
I thought there was I went on and looked at all of the ratings of the episodes
Okay.
on IMDb to see what people sort of say.
Yeah, is
And
this
so
one high?
it goes it's pretty much 8s and 9s because how many people are really rating on IMDb?
Yes,
But then
and
there's two
if you do,
episodes
you
that I
love it.
really hate that go down into the 7s and
Oh,
6s
really?
or something lower. Much
Okay.
lower. I'm like, exactly, because those episodes are terrible. But
We
these
haven't
were
gotten
these
to
were,
those
we haven't
yet.
gotten to them yet.
Okay,
but these
interesting.
we're still on that high for a little bit longer.
The fall portion of this series or this season, which is through the Christmas episode, is pretty solid. So I like the way this one starts out because Kevin's all egotistical and Paul has lost
he's never beaten
3,000
me.
games or whatever basketball to me.
790.
790. Tim knows. Oh, okay, fair enough. I thought you literally remembered that. But yes, then all of a sudden he tries out for the team. He wants to, make something of himself. What is it about this episode for you that
I like that.
stuck out?
Well, I like that Kevin is taken down a peg. I like that Kevin becomes his biggest fan later.
Yeah.
And I don't. And
Another Kevin redemption
It's a Kevin
at the end of the
redemption this
episode for
time.
sure.
Good old thumbs up.
Yeah, good old thumbs
And
up.
I don't.
Jack's at the game cheering him on.
We've got Paul doing something other than being brainy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't. But the only thing I don't like is that how much Kevin has an effect on Paul and completely rattles him. And I'm like, oh gosh.
Ringleader. It really does go back and forth, as we can see.
It is. It's
I think depending on the subject, right? When it comes to sports, Kevin's sort of always been, the
he's the
more
strong
athlete
one.
or whatever.
Paul's the
What's
math
funny
athlete,
is
principally.
in real life, Josh Saviano, who plays Paul, was very, very adept at sports and was, kind of jacked a little bit. And Freaks and Geeks, again, the big nerd in Freaks and Geeks, Bill, the actor was, really jacked and was great at sports. And so this gave Josh Saviano a chance to showcase that part of himself, which I thought was nice.
I thought it was a nice episode.
Yeah. Tim, you like this one?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a little slow.
I felt
beginning,
the same. This is not
It's
maybe
also
one of my
a nice
favorites,
lead
but
into this
Yeah.
next one though,
But-
because we've got the whole Coach Cutler.
that's true.
Like,
This is
as
sort
a
of a
main-
twofer for Coach Cutler.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the 6 Man, but it's probably one kind of like Little Debbie. How by the end of it, it's like, oh yeah, good episode,
Great redemption.
Great
Yeah, here's a
redemption.
scene I
Yeah,
love.
right.
But I wasn't into it at first.
Yeah.
All right, so Very Cutler Christmas.
This
I
was
think
lovely.
this might be my favorite one of the season. So this is when, it starts out Coach Cutlip's being a jerk to the kids and, boy, if I had some dirt on him, I'd really ruin his life. So Kevin goes to the mall with his mother and realizes Coach Cutlip is the mall Santa. And
Cutlip thinks he's getting
Cutlip-
assortedly about it.
Yes. So, God bless Coach Cutlip. I mean, look, teachers sometimes have to moonlight doing other things, and this is something that I guess he did every Christmas. And the reason he gives at the end, yes, the thing with his mother, but him saying, "Kids like me when I'm Santa."
I loved that.
God, that was great.
Yeah. It's
right?
nice to have it's like study hall. Like, kids like me in study hall because I'm not their teacher.
Right, you're not cracking the whip.
Like, I'm their friend.
Yeah.
I can talk to you about other things.
Yeah.
So I always loved to talk at a study hall because I really got to know the kids. This is like, oh, I'm so loved because I'm Santa. Who's more loved than Santa?
Everybody looks up to him. Everybody wants to see him and smiles and then the kids at the end coming to look for Coach Cutlip and I heard he works in the mall. Where is he? And then they all just get smiles on their faces when they see Santa.
And they
love
have no
that.
idea.
I didn't see that ending coming. I thought.
I kind of always forget.
I thought they were gonna find out that he was Santa.
Yeah.
I thought everybody was gonna find out.
I was surprised
They changed
as well.
it up.
I didn't think that. I didn't. I didn't. And I loved again. This is another Kevin saves the day.
Well, he tried.
He tried.
And
he sort of bungled it, to be honest.
Right.
But at the end of the day, he didn't need to. But he bungled it in the first place by saying it. He shouldn't have said anything. But Coach Cutlip was cutting him deals and being so nice to him, and
it was too much.
Everybody was hating on him.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do the presidential fitness test.
That's right. Didn't he hold the whistle or something for him?
He held the stopwatch.
Did you all have to do the presidential?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And under, I think George Bush Sr. Because I graduated from high school in '95, and I think this is middle school, 7th, 8th grade is when you do it.
I have a couple of them.
I feel like I did one in 5th grade, the last year of elementary school. I did.
Okay, I think mine was a little older. I think mine was 7th.
In middle, and I think in elementary, and I think I might have had 2 different.
I went to Catholic school till 3rd grade, so we did not have to do it there. But maybe in public school we would have. But yeah, I remember
they had some different
it was
things.
7th or 8th.
We did not. So my question to you all was: did you have the same events? Because we did not have the rope climb.
Oh, we had the rope climb.
I've never climbed a rope in.
We had the ropes.
We
did
the rope climb.
No.
That always rings true to me when I see that in a TV show, and it's awful. I used to hate it because I did not have upper body strength.
One, it was
we had to
this.
climb.
Yeah.
We had to climb. We had to do a mile.
We had to do a mile.
We had to run a mile.
We had the shuttle thing with the racers.
X number of sit-ups, I think, too.
Sit-ups. We had the sit and reach
else.
for flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
We had the not chin-ups. They changed it to pull-ups by that time.
I think we had chin-ups.
Yeah, I had to do push-ups and sit-ups and chin-ups and
we
stuff like that.
Push-ups.
But I don't know if it was for a presidential thing or if it was just
the
gym
warm-up?
class.
No.
Like I remember counting and how many you could do, but I don't think it was. I don't know.
I remember very well.
It was a
mine
whole
was for gym class
you
or
had
for
to
president.
be. Yeah, they would give you and this is your percentile, and this is how great you are with it, and it was embarrassing.
Oh yeah, they posted it.
It was horrible.
And listen, I mean, I'm not athletic, but a lot of my friends were heavy, and it was running the mile. People would finish in 6, 7, 8 minutes. And some of my friends, it was 16, 17 minutes. It was horrible.
They made you do it again if you couldn't do it in under 15.
I don't think they made us do that, but
I think I could do
remember.
it at 13
I think
then.
maybe they were. I don't know if they made people do it again, but they were you guys can walk a mile in I think in 14 minutes. So if you're just walking, you can do it in 14 minutes. How are you going under?
In high school, I definitely walked. It wasn't for the presidential, but it was for just we're doing the mile run. Yeah. You have to get it done.
I can't believe you guys didn't climb ropes.
We had them. It was just not part of the presidential award. For
we
fitness.
did it for sure.
It was part of the gymnastics.
We had ropes. Never did I touch them. I
had to.
I couldn't do it.
We used them once a year.
I did it a little bit.
We used them once a year,
the
and that was for we had a red and black night, and we had a big obstacle course. So whoever was doing the obstacle course, the ropes were part of them. You just had to climb the rope to a certain spot and do a whole bunch of other things. That's the only time I ever saw them used in high school.
Wow.
Oh no, we didn't have them in high school. Yeah. In high school, we almost did nothing.
I'm not sure if we had them in high school. It was definitely middle school that we had them.
I didn't have them in middle school.
I was like 90 pounds, so I just I didn't go all the way up, but I climbed a bit.
Yeah. In elementary school, I remember one of the events I had was like jumping. Like you had like a standing jump.
A long jump.
The long jump.
It was a
triple
standing jump.
Huh.
I'm not sure if
I
they
do
were
vaguely
all
remember that, I
part
guess.
of the, I don't know if that was
Standing
the presidential one.
Yeah. All right, so up next we have the candidates. This is the big...
I was so mad at Paul. Who nominates their friend for this?
Well, especially somebody that doesn't want it.
Like,
Kevin made it very clear he didn't want it. Paul convinced him to do it, and then nominates him when he's in the bathroom. And then, of course, Becky Slater is the long-term, candidate.
No one wants to go against her.
Right, nobody will go against her. Oh, we'll throw Kevin in there.
So I kind of like Becky Slater's acting, or what is her, Crystal McKellar's acting, and I almost wish they switched the two girls because I get so mad.
So you think Crystal should have been Winnie all the time?
I don't know. I feel like I get so mad at Danica McKellar.
Well, but then
that I feel like she makes a better villain.
Well, Becky is certainly the villain.
She's the obvious.
She makes a great villain.
Yeah.
And so I almost feel like I feel like Becky is like almost sweeter at first. Now she's I don't know. It's
not one episode.
Sweet.
2 episodes.
She murdered him. Yeah. All right. So what about this episode? Do you like this one?
I thought it was
a good fine. Doug episode. Another strong Doug episode.
I liked how the guys rallied around him.
Yeah, I liked
that was nice.
And I liked the fact it was Becky has all the nice buttons, and they have like a cardboard cutout buttons.
Yes. That remind you of anything, Tim?
Your favorite movie, Election?
Yeah. I'm sure Election took some sort of cue from this episode. Yeah. Because Tracy Flick had all the nice cupcakes and the buttons and everybody else
just had the Rice Krispie treats.
Right? And they have Rice Krispie treats.
I will say they do an excellent job. I know you talk sometimes about, they highlight the food in this show
Lots
very
of good
well.
Food, yeah.
And it all looks very
it's all
real.
From the era.
It's from the era.
Yeah.
And they've got nice close-ups of it. Like, this is not your typical sitcom, multi-camera, like this food's been sitting out here for days.
Yeah,
it
all looks pristine,
beautiful.
Yeah. Norma, great homemaker.
Them cutting the Rice Krispie treats.
The crunch. The crunch of the Rice Krispie treat.
I liked how Doug and them were going to use stink bombs during it.
I had never seen a stink bomb before, so I
think probably before this episode I hadn't either, but I watched this live, so I knew then. But stink bombs was not really a thing. I
think it was a thing when I was in middle school. I feel like I remember a couple times.
Yeah, my buddy had them.
Did you? Wow. Okay.
He was a
prankster.
He was the Doug. He was a Doug.
I didn't know anybody who would actually have them.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. I just remember them being set off in middle school a few times and being like, "Oh, stink bomb."
He wasn't the type that would just suddenly just drop off type of thing.
My God. What a mess.
But I liked the Kevin arc of this as well, like how he. And I also like the fact that it turned into kind of a smear campaign.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
I'm surprised the teachers let that go on. Yeah. That was we were talking about more comedy. This is where I was like, okay, I feel like we've departed a little bit from the reality of what would have been allowed.
Yeah, but again, it's all Kevin's mind.
That's true.
It's all Kevin's memory. So who actually knows what really did happen, right?
She sits on the sign, and then that's how it gets started.
Yes.
But then Kevin's gonna he thinks about using Becky's speech, and he goes first.
Yeah.
And then
who is it that steals the speech? Does he get it himself? I can't remember.
No.
So
one of his friends, Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the other boys gets it, and then he's gonna use it. What's his face doesn't want him to use it. Paul doesn't want him to use it, and then he gives this big speech of who Kevin is, and then
But I like that.
Empowering.
I love that.
Yes, it was very nice.
Yes. Those are really what Kevin is like, and I love that Paul recognizes that. So I understand why he wants him to be the candidate.
That's the thing. I don't think Paul nominated him to be a jerk. Yeah. No. I think he actually, even though Kevin didn't want to do it, I think Paul really did believe in him.
Yes.
No, I agree.
So
I
that's
think
why he was his campaign manager.
Yeah.
And then Kevin decides that he's not going to steal the speech and he's going to just resign.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good.
Yeah.
Another star for you, Tim?
I don't know if it's.
I don't know if it's.
I don't know if
star,
it's
the
a
next
star.
two are the ones that were the real low points, though.
Well, we talked about Heartbreak and Denial.
Oh, no,
already.
we
Those
didn't.
were the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
yeah.
Not those.
So we got Who's Aunt Rose, which is.
No, down here. Is
Okay.
Not Who's Aunt Rose.
Well, Who's Aunt Rose is the return of Grandpa Arnold.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we see him, and this was an interesting episode because it really hit on some important things that, I don't know, losing your first person, even if you didn't know who they were, sort of does make you think about
funerals.
Yeah. And I mean, my sister-in-law just lost her father, and so my nephews just went to their first ever funeral, and it was obviously
I was 14 for my
huge
first
deal.
funeral. It was my grandmother.
I was 11, I think, or 10 or 11, my great-grandmother, and that was it was intense.
Yeah. I was in elementary school when my great grandmother
They wouldn't take me to that.
She lived to be like 101.
Oh wow!
Wow.
So I remember going to visit her. She had Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that, so she didn't remember who I was. Like every time that my dad would be like, take us, he's like, hey, I'm Wayne, and she'd be like, Wayne, Keith, and Scott. Leslie, Glenn, and Craig. Like him and his two brothers, and then like the other kids from like
that generation, the
grandchildren, like the other grandchildren from like different side. But he's like, and these are my kids. And like she was like cutting puzzle pieces to make them fit, type of thing. But I remember she passed away, and like I went to it, and I remember being really like, what, kind of bored, and not like, kind of like.
You have to dress up, I assume.
Yeah.
Kids don't really love that.
Yeah. But then in middle school, one of my favorite aunts passed away, and I do remember that one and being really sad type of thing. So kind of had like both experiences of not really understanding what's going on and then really understanding what's going on a couple years later.
Yeah, my family wasn't big on taking you when you were really young. So my great-grandmother died when I was 5. That was too young, apparently.
Yeah.
But 14 for my grandfather. And it was interesting. I am not good at a funeral. The ceremony part, like the part in the church. Well, no, the viewing's not bad. It's the church part and the graveside that I'm a wreck. And actually, I don't mind a viewing because it's so much like visiting with people like you saw here.
Right.
The small talk. And I actually remember really bonding with my cousins. And I don't say having a good time, but like after the viewing that night, because the funeral would be the next morning, we all were like upstairs at my grandparents' house and like, cutting up and having like this moment together. And so those moments in between those heavier pieces were actually really meaningful. So this was interesting because I kind of felt like they needed some more kids at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much just Kevin and Wayne, more or less, at this whole funeral. And they get $20 that goes then into the coffin. They
don't want to touch it.
They don't want to touch it, so they start getting some gum on it.
How far down did this? Like, there's nothing. This was all.
I thought that was a little unbelievable. I would have just grabbed it.
$20
in 1971 or whatever they're supposed to be in.
Kind of like on top of you, to touch the lady.
I mean, it could have gone like underneath her arm or something.
Yes.
Like
And the gum's gonna do a whole lot for that.
Look, these are children, and one of them is Wayne, and he doesn't. He's an idiot. But I like when they got pissed off at him and kicked him out of the car. And
that was funny.
It was like, you guys are being jerks. Walk home then.
I thought the grandfather's speech was nice too. About
very nice.
Yeah.
Even if we don't necessarily remember the people, it's the whole us getting together. That's the important part.
Well, because even Jack didn't really want to go.
Nobody wanted to go.
Nobody wanted to go, but they had to.
So.
All right, so the next one, Courage.
Oh my gosh,
couldn't
stand it.
Could be the worst one we've seen yet.
Horrendous.
I don't really like this episode. It's the hot dental assistant.
I'm just kind of grossed out by the whole thing, to be honest.
Okay. Well, let's hear about it. What?
I don't know. This whole I'm gonna.
It takes place at the dentist, most of it.
Yes, I'm going to sort of fall in love with this hot dental hygienist.
He thinks that
he keeps saying it. She keeps talking about how stupid she is. People who these people have degrees.
Well,
And,
who knows?
like, I
Well,
understand-
back then probably not. I don't
They
know.
had some kind of
They
training.
had some kind of schooling, I guess, but who knows?
And I don't know. It just, the whole thing seemed ridiculous.
It seemed like it was a little like, I don't know. They already did it with Miss White a couple of years ago.
I didn't like it then.
I was okay with it then. I mean, he was, in 6th or 7th grade. He was
That's
just a kid.
true.
I don't know. This one, it's whatever. I didn't hate it, but
This was one
I
of
think
the
it's
low
the most.
ones
Yeah,
for the,
it's just not
general
good.
public.
Yeah, Tim, did you like this one?
No, it's probably one of the
It's low point.
low point of the season.
You negative started.
Negative started.
Yeah.
If I
And then she's like, I'm going to go become a dentist now. And I'm taking your advice to go, like, what? To go become a dentist? To
Listen.
go back to, I just...
She needed some pushing, and Kevin was the
I-
voice of reason.
I think they could have made it a slightly better episode had it at the end of the episode when the voiceover with Daniel Stern, where he's like, and I've never saw her again. Where if it had been like, and I use her like
yeah, my kids go to her
yeah,
now.
my kids go to her.
Yeah,
as a dentist or
yeah.
something like
Well,
That
and
would've
he
been
said,
cool.
I'll take my, I'd take my kids to you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Then he doesn't. I think it could have been a lot more poignant
Okay.
and powerful and meaningful in the series, like because it has no effect whatsoever. Where
Yeah.
he's like,
Right.
like it was one of my negative points about the pen pal thing, where it was just
Never
and
happened again.
I only got one letter. Like
Now, this
okay,
is another Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern directed this
Yeah.
one. Maybe they give him the crapo. They're like, nobody wants to direct us, so why don't you try your hand at it?
Well, I
And
thought
maybe- yeah, I don't think it was
I thought
his
that-
fault.
The
But
directing
yeah.
was fine. It was
Yeah.
the writing. It
but
was just the
I
stories,
think
too.
it would have been a little bit more poignant if he's like
if there was something
Yes.
to the end of it, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so next is Buster the dog.
Oh my
This
gosh.
poor kid.
What is wrong with his family?
What? I don't know. Is it weird to like? Now listen, we grew up with Bob Barker. Have your pet spayed or neutered. I heard that
For
at the end of
years.
every morning of Price
So
is
what
Right.
time? When did the Price is Right start? In the 70s?
Well, it started in the 70s.
So
And I don't know when
before
he
that.
started the pet population bit. Certainly as long as I remember, but who knows? But yeah, maybe spaying and neutering was not.
I don't
a
think
big
it was
thing.
as much of a big thing, for sure. I do agree with that issue. But basically, the dog is acting up, and the recommendation is from the vet to neuter the dog.
And nobody will do it.
And nobody even
Nobody
wants to
wants to
talk
do it.
about it.
I know.
Like, I'm like,
Stupid.
are you kidding me? To the point where the dog ends up running away.
And then they realize how much they love him.
And then they do end up taking
And then they snip his balls anyway, so who cares?
it.
Useless episode.
couldn't
I
stand
agree.
it. I
These
don't
two.
like- You know me and the mistreatment of animals. I felt like the poor dog.
Yes. Well, they were afraid to. They were afraid that doing the neuter would be mistreating him. But what they weren't getting. I mean, look, maybe they just didn't have the knowledge. I don't know. It's hard to know what people knew in the 70s.
Listen,
with
they had the
that,
whole
right?
I'm a guy, let me cross my legs bit.
I guess.
So,
I
mean,
guess.
That's all I could see. And
All
I was
right,
like, that's
Tim, did you
enough.
like this one?
I liked it because there was a dog in it.
There was Buster's very cute.
I like.
I would
and I
have
like
liked
that they
a
brought him
happier
back.
Buster story
Yeah.
But-
than that,
Yeah.
though. That was.
But
making
he
me
become
upset.
I agree with everything you're saying, but once again, end of the episode,
Or the last line.
last
I was crying.
last scenes where like they show how the Buster's there with the family, and they give everybody's on board with him and gives them a bone, and then also the line with like, and he
Greeted me from the prom. And
he greeted me from the prom,
Mm-hmm.
and he like stared out the window a long time when Kevin went off to college.
that's where I was crying.
Oh, see? Now, if it's a crier
But
episode,
I
it
don't
can't
wanna-
be that
I don't want
bad.
to cry about
Yeah.
my animals.
Yeah.
I want them to
Well,
be
I
like.
guess that's
then
true,
I was
but-
thinking,
I
like,
felt
all I
like-
could think of was
I felt
that
it was
poor
very
dog.
I felt it was very heartwarming. And I also
Heartwarming
I
is-
can connect with that episode because our first dog Daisy, when we had her, I think she passed away when I was like 5 or something like that, or 6. We took her to the shore with us, and my dad took her outside, let her go to the bathroom, and she walked around the shed, and then he let her go, and then he was like, "Let's take her," and she was gone.
No
So
way.
we spent the rest of the beach vacation biking around looking
Yeah.
for our dog.
Did you find her?
We found her.
Wow.
We put up signs and we
Wow.
found
That's
her.
a happy ending.
We found
It
her
is.
last day, so it was.
Holy
it was kind of like
moly.
that
You
Buster
related.
moment.
So
like,
you really related on this
Yes.
one. Okay.
yeah, like the whole plot of the neutering thing. I agree. That's like I don't know if that.
Yeah, I don't. Was that not a thing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
For it to be a point in this, I think it had to be not.
It had to be not a thing, right?
It had to be
Not a common. Yeah.
Not a common thing in the 70s.
Yeah. All right. All right. So we still have like 4 or 5 episodes here. So road trip is next. This is another Jack episode.
This is the one that I was talking about where
Which one is it? Oh,
this is
the
buying
new
a
suit.
and they get lost and Jack doesn't want to admit it.
Yes.
And they get to the place too late. They go to the diner. Kevin's trying to be an adult. Jack doesn't really
They're
get
sort
it.
of fighting over
this.
this waitress that's attractive. You don't like this one either?
I liked the guest star. So, did you
Okay.
recognize the waitress?
Wait, I didn't.
She was in 5 episodes of Roseanne as Debbie when Roseanne worked in
The beauty salon.
beauty
Oh,
salon.
yes. I do remember that now. Yes, and she called her Roxanne.
No.
Is that the one?
Well, yes, that's the episode, which Debbie wasn't calling her.
Oh,
Roxanne.
okay.
Debbie was the blonde. I don't know if she did nails or hair.
Oh,
or
I did
something.
not recognize her then.
The person who called her Roxanne was Mrs. Wellman.
Right, okay. Yes.
So,
But I saw
anyway.
her recently in something, too.
She is also
Is she in an episode of The Wonder
Big
Years?
Love. In many.
No, I saw young her in something recently,
Okay,
though.
then I don't remember. I looked at all.
Maybe it was the Jefferson. Remember I said I was rewatching the Jefferson.
I was looking at everything
Anyway.
she was in. Everything else was like one episode.
Okay.
So I was like, I know this lady, and it was
Huh,
those 2 shows.
I did not. Well, look.
I liked the episode, but it's very similar to me
It's-
to the golfing.
I was gonna
episode.
say it's a little bit of that. Well, and a little bit with the episode with the treehouse last year, where we can't be in the same room together and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, just
more of
kind
this-
of redone.
Redone, but still.
Still
It was
Jack
good.
episode.
Still Jack
It was a
episode.
good Jack episode.
All right, now when worlds collide is when Norma decides to go get a job. Jack's out doing his traveling for business, so she gets a job at the school.
This
She's
kind
the
of
secretary or
rang
what
for
have
me
you.
because my mother in middle school got a job as a secretary and also ended up
Wow.
kind of getting let go, not for the same reasons, but it was kind of the same. It just wasn't at my school.
Interesting.
It was with people
Oh,
we
okay.
knew, though. It was with people
Interesting.
my sister knew.
Okay.
So the whole mom out of the house thing
Yeah.
was interesting.
I really like this episode. We don't get a lot of Norma-specific episodes. We get family episodes. She's always, there in the Jack episodes, being the voice of reason or whatever it is. But, yeah, there's not a ton of episodes where she's kind of the focal point.
I like
really,
that she
other
got
than the
some
Bonnery.
autonomy, and I like
Yeah,
that
loved it.
she was typing up her application for a community college at the end, which I thought was
Yes, with
really
her.
nice.
And I love when she went in with a pillbox hat.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Because that's what Jackie O wore.
I
love that.
I like this episode because everybody can relate to maybe their parents being embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I really think.
Do you think he was being a jerk?
No, I don't think she was being a jerk.
No, I mean him, Kevin.
No, I think Norma probably should have realized that waving, saying "Hi, sweetie."
Yes,
when
but she still.
doing a file.
But she still sees him as
I
a
know.
little 6-year-old.
It's embarrassing.
It was
I
very
Yeah,
embarrassed. I was
I
embarrassed
can't.
for
I
him.
can't believe
and
it.
I just was like, I feel like Norma's a little bit smarter than that.
Okay, that's fair.
I just if it was a different scenario of him being embarrassed by Norma, I think it would be a little bit believable. But I think that was just.
How about when she catches him taking the pass? Because the bully wants him to get the free pass for him or whatever.
The bully was too much. I'm just. They needed to.
Too many bullies?
No, it's the same guy over and over again. I
alright.
think he might have been played by a different person,
Yeah,
possibly.
it's Tony again.
He's just. I understand he's supposed to have been held back.
Yeah,
But-
that's the
Two
gag.
seasons.
But
Yeah,
the
that's the
gag
gag,
is
right.
like way over the top.
I know.
He looks like he's going bald. This
All right,
kid.
but again,
first of all,
this is from Kevin's perspective. Maybe in his
I don't know, and the
15-year-old mind, this
accent
is
and
how- the
everything
accent's a
is
little much.
Just, I'm like,
Is it too Fonz for you?
It's
Hey.
the Fonz is less Fonz than this guy.
I feel like this is typical
I guess that's true.
high school things.
Yeah, I think it's
like
I actually find it quite believable.
I find it quite believable.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's typical TV high school too, where they have that older kid that's obviously played by an actor that's way older.
Right.
Like
they're so believable in this show.
But
I got like taken out of
Boy
it.
Meets World has the same
No,
thing,
I know.
and a kid from this plays the bully in Boy Meets World later.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Savage connection again.
Yes, he was like the shop kid in those 2 episodes, like in the ninth grade man. And then another one.
No, in Wonder Years.
Oh, in this. Oh.
Yes,
Then he went to the
man.
shop, yeah.
He was in the shop.
Okay.
It was also the same kid. He replaced Michael in Salute Your Shorts season 2.
Oh, okay.
That kid.
Every time this turns into the Salute Your Shorts conversation.
But then he becomes he becomes one of the bullies with Ethan Suplee in Boy Meets World.
Wow. All right. Very good. Yeah, I find it very believable. All right, Separate Rooms is next.
I like this.
I like this one. This is a Karen episode that barely involves Karen.
No, this is a Kevin
but this is a Kevin and Wayne episode. But it's about her room. So I mean, it's about her leaving the nest yet again. But they are trying to decide. Well, we've been in this room together, our whole lives. I shared a room with my brother until about 8th grade, like about this time, I would think. And then I got my own room in the basement. But yeah, I mean, we had 3 brothers, so at one point we were all 3 when we were real little. But yeah, I shared a room with my younger brother for probably 4 years.
Yeah, I never shared a room.
You never shared a room.
I never shared a room. I had a really small room.
Well, you had a sister. You had sisters though.
I have a sister. She has a room right next to me. I had the really small room, and then probably in 9th grade, my parents were like, "Your room is really small. We're gonna put a little extension."
Oh,
over there.
that's nice.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like,
that's nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah. By 8th or 9th grade, then we all had our own rooms because we had an addition put on the back of the house, and my parents slept in there. So then my older brother got their room, and then me and my younger brother swapped. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode.
I did like this episode. I do think it's a little reminiscent to Wayne on Wheels, especially how
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
How about the Jack coin toss though? That was a nice twist.
Yeah, that was a nice line.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very believable. Great chemistry between Kevin and Wayne.
Yeah.
As always. Believe that they are brothers. And it's
for
like
sure.
They're like, "What do you mean? When are you moving out? This is my room." They're like, "No, this is my room." I'm like,
yeah. Well, yeah, because nobody wants to move all their stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so up next is the yearbook.
Another Salute Your Shorts kid.
Another Salute Your Shorts kid. Let's hear about
Michael
it.
Bauer. He finally has a name in this one. He had a couple other appearances. One last season. I think another one this season. That I don't remember.
He might have been in the election one or something.
No, I think he was in like the party.
Something
He was at the party.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay.
I didn't remember, but I looked him up. This is his last episode.
Pig, they call him.
He plays Peter Pig.
Armbruster.
Armbruster. Everybody calls him Pig. Behind his back, apparently, he eats a lot. And Kevin saves the Poplar kids with a note passing. He makes up.
Yes, this hot guy and hot girl are passing notes in class. Kevin saves the day.
I'm not that hot.
But I mean, they're the popular.
No, I know.
Yeah. I thought the reading of the note was. I thought that was very humorous.
Oh, I loved it.
Where he's like
great joke.
Where he just reads groceries.
Great joke.
That was great.
I thought that was great.
Good, thinking on his feet.
But they invite him to make up quotes for the yearbooks for people,
which seemed like a weird thing.
It makes it.
Yeah, we had our own senior quote, but we didn't make up quotes for other people because they would be real rude. I feel like
I didn't understand the concept.
So first he says let's eat or something, and then he says oink oink.
Then he feels bad. He wants to change it, but then he caves again. And he says oink oink.
Even though I'm a fat kid, the let's eat thing was actually kind of funny.
I didn't think that was too bad.
He said that.
Yeah,
he literally said it.
I didn't think that was too harsh. But then Kevin, of course, makes it 10 times worse.
The oink oink
with the
was
oink
horrendous.
Oink comment.
at that meeting was also another small cameo by Jonathan Brandis, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I noticed there was a second person I recognized.
Yeah, very young.
Wow. Okay. Sequest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had like and
Ladybugs, of course.
Ladybugs, classic.
Roddy
bowl
Dangerfield.
cut hair there.
Okay.
He was.
I didn't recognize him.
He was the little kid on the couch with them. Like,
okay.
All the way to the left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
But then the whole thing is that Kevin wants to change his mind, and he talks to the kids, and then they kind of throw him under the bus, and he gets
completely. Which
which made me furious.
But that's what would happen. Of course, those kids are jerk offs.
But Kevin didn't even have to say anything because I feel like that guy was going to read it anyway, right?
Yes, he was.
But I guess they pointed out that. But the whole thing anyway is that he keeps calling Pig Peter. And then
at the end, he's like, "Call me Pig." Everybody else does. Yeah.
So,
that was I don't know.
So I don't know that we had a kid in school, and he did have a fat kid type nickname, and he was fine with it. Everybody called him that.
Yeah,
poor Michael Ray Bauer, because he pig in here, and then he's donkey lips on Salute Your Shores. I mean, like.
Well, look, this is another Freaks and Geeks takeaway. They had a fat kid that his deal was he didn't smell very good. He had a sweating problem, and much like Pig at the end of this episode, he's like, I know I smell bad, like whatever. He accepted who he is and whatever. I don't know. It's sort of affirming that Pig doesn't care. He's like, whatever.
It's fat
happy
Amy,
kid.
Fat Amy.
Yeah, Fat Amy all over again from Pitch Perfect. Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like that's a very relatable. Story.
It was.
But
I just don't understand the yearbook quotes.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
I should ask my parents about that.
And it shows Kevin has a backbone. But it just in typical,
only after a while.
In typical Kevin fashion, it takes a while. It takes a while to get there.
Yes. All right. So the last 3 episodes, important to talk about all of these. So the accident is when Winnie, is hanging out with these kids from her school and Roger and all
older
this,
kids.
and they're older, and Kevin tries to warn her and tries to warn other people about it, and no one seems to care, and then she gets in the accident, and then they have their nice, great moment at the end.
So I didn't love the episode to begin with, but the moment at the end just
made it up.
Sold
this is one of the classic moments of the Wonder Years.
I didn't remember
the only time in history. Is this one of your music questions, by the way?
Yes.
Because this is the only time in history that the Wonder Years used a not era-specific song.
So what is the song?
It's We've Got Tonight by Bob Seger.
Okay, that is what it played on.
And that is
which I loved.
from a bit years later. I think it's still 70s, but it's like late 70s. And they had a big, discussion about it. Do we use the song? But it's so perfect. How can we not? Da 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 da.
But it doesn't have to be to that era if he's looking back on it. So
true.
It's
this is the only time that they did not care about.
I'm okay with it
era specific because
I felt like the song was
so perfect. So they play We've Got Tonight on Hulu.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was
by Bob Seger.
Yes.
Or by Todd Seger.
No, Bob Seger. Because I went on to YouTube later and I listened to multiple other versions to see did they use somebody else's version, and it was definitely
the real. Okay.
The Bob Seger version.
Tim, you ever heard of that song? We've Got Tonight.
Oh my gosh!
They've done it on a couple different shows and stuff, but
episode.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought the music matches, but
as always.
And the whole thing is that they mouth "I love you" at each other.
Oh yes!
Oh my gosh, I was.
Yeah. They're back, Tim. Well, now they love each other again.
I mean,
they never stopped.
Or do they love each other as friends? What is going to happen now?
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
We haven't.
We're gonna find out soon.
Not quite. We don't get to find out.
Oh yeah, I find out.
Not this season.
All right. So next is the house that Jack built. This is our first appearance of David Schwimmer as Michael.
I think it's so interesting. This is only 3 years before he was in Friends.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I just like.
This is 1991, and of course, fall of '94 was Friends. He's in, I believe, 3 other episodes in the next season as well. So
he comes back. I'm excited.
Free spoilers for that, I guess.
Him.
But this is one of my.
I'm not a huge Schwimmer fan.
He's fine.
He's fine. I'm not huge.
This is one of my favorites of the season. Jack again, but the Jack and Karen again. We don't see Karen hardly at all this whole season, but this is obviously a very Karen-heavy episode. Tim, what'd you think of the house that Jack built?
So the concept is that when Karen gave up her room, she was staying
School.
at
Theoretically
for
in the dorms.
School over the summer. Now she's not living in the dorm. She's moving to
Old house.
Old
Beautiful.
house. She's renting a house.
Yeah, big old house
with a roommate, and it's cheaper because they have to do some fixing up, and then Jack decides to go up and visit and fix it, and they find out that
at first they think he's the delivery boy. He's bringing in all these groceries.
Oh, and she just lets them believe that.
She lets him believe it. Spineless.
Yeah. I would have been spineless.
Then we find out that David Schwimmer, Michael, is actually her boyfriend, and they're
live-in boyfriend, living in sin.
Yeah,
in the same bedroom. I love that whole.
Oh, yeah, same bedroom.
Like, how many rooms are there?
Oh, we want to build up. We want to fix up the other 3 rooms and rent them out. Oh, you have 5 bedrooms? No, we have 4. Where do you sleep?
I loved it. That was great. Great joke.
How about another great line read at the big standoff on the front steps when she's like, things have changed, this and that, and Jack yells, "I haven't changed."
God.
That kills me.
Out of all the episodes that we were talking about, oh, great Jack redemption, great Jack. This is one of the episodes where Jack doesn't change his mind. He doesn't show that he
leaves.
Yeah,
he could have been like, I'm not paying for school. Get in the car.
Yeah.
There was a lot more to this that could have happened, and that I have seen happen in the now. Like when I was in college, this happened to a friend of mine. She and her boyfriend moved in together for senior year, and the parents would not pay for the final year. Yeah, it was. So this was like, oh, I've seen this. I've seen this go down.
Yeah.
And it his whole, like, I haven't changed, reminded me so much of Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, when, like, every daughter comes to him and is like,
about to watch in December for Dan's big movie.
Have you seen?
I've seen parts of it, and I know some of the music, but I've never seen it.
Okay, so there are, I'm not giving too much away, but as every person comes to him with a concession, he has to kind of make that same sort of decision.
Oh, okay,
and you'll
interesting.
See, this was reminiscent a little bit to me.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to you about that later.
Yeah, very good.
You've seen it.
But because Jack has changed his like in the past, you're like, oh, he warms up, he like does this, he does that, he kind of always comes back around, makes that great Jack moment with either Wayne or Kevin or Karen in the last season where
with the kit
bag. Like him walking down that sidewalk, I expected him to be like accepting Michael, accepting Karen. Nope, he didn't change. It didn't happen.
I thought that was realistic.
I thought it was realistic.
Yeah. But it didn't make you think less of Jack.
No, I didn't think it made me less of Jack.
Yeah.
But like I kind of expected him to kind of like warm up,
soften
and like
a little
bit,
yeah.
Soften up. Maybe they build something together, fix the house together.
Right.
And they bond a little bit. Nope.
That's where I hoped it was going when I first saw it too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's.
I mean, I was
shocked. That's where I was expecting it to go, but.
I think it's the times.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I thought that that's the way my father would have reacted to me moving in with. Who became my husband.
You did have to hide it from people, though, right? Not in your family,
Not really. Yeah, not in my family. I basically said he's going to move in.
Yeah.
But we didn't tell the pastor who married us,
right?
And we played it off as like, oh, he's coming over for dinner, and we're all going to have dinner at the house we've bought together, but he's not moving in until we get
lying
married.
to the Lord.
The Lord knew what we were doing.
Well, I guess that's
We
true.
actually told the one church, and they told us not to come back and help volunteer anymore when he originally moved in.
Wow.
So, yeah, this is...
And that was in the 2010s? Early 2010s, I guess, right?
Around, somewhere in there. So...
Yikes.
I expected my father to do this same thing, and my father's always been okay with, because I think,
you need to live with a person.
You need to live with a person.
Let's be real.
Everybody live with the person.
You need to live with a person. All right, so the final episode is...
the music. This was the
other music. Okay.
I'm not sure if did they play Dylan's The Times They Are Changing?
Oh, yes, I believe they did.
Okay.
I believe they did.
Because I felt like that was really I thought that was perfect
Yep.
there too, as well.
Yes, they
and
did.
I was like, man, the music in these last 2 episodes. But I wanted
Yeah,
to
they were
ask.
really on fire on that one. All right, so the final episode's a retrospective, so we don't really need to talk about that. But Graduation's the penultimate episode of the season. And this is where we learn that Paul is not coming back next season to the school because he's going to be going to this prep school. And
I
so,
think that's going to be good for him. I think he needs to go be challenged.
yeah, I think it will be interesting for him.
You've seen this.
And I've seen it. I've seen it, so I can't say any more than that. But Kevin, in classic fashion, is a real jerk to him, and
Kevin doesn't like change.
Kevin hates it.
Yes.
Hates the change.
Doesn't like.
Um,
But Paul didn't tell him.
Yes.
And
He has to learn.
yeah,
I felt Kevin's pain about
you're right
being left
about not
out.
knowing.
Like, my best friend didn't tell me she was going to the same college that I was going to. I had to find out from the wall in the
Oh, that's weird.
in the high school. Like, on the last day you could decide, they would post.
Okay.
I had posted a month before because I knew where I was going. She didn't post till the last day, and I was hurt by it. I was
Wow.
like, another one of my friends, he came out to everybody except for me. I was defending him to someone, and they're like, he came out, right? So, like, I really feel this whole, like, being left out of the loop.
Somebody came out from my college, too, to, like, a bunch of people, and not me. And I'm like, but I'm gay. Like, I understand what coming out is like. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, no, it wasn't even
And I was
that.
annoyed.
It
I was, like,
fact
the last to know.
They were like, they said, like, they said gay so-and-so, and I was like, stop calling. Like, that's not nice. Like, don't call my friend
That's
that.
not nice.
That's not nice. And they're like, no, I'm differentiating. That person has come out. It was a whole thing.
Wow. All
So,
right.
yeah.
Well,
I feel Kevin's pain.
he didn't know.
But he didn't express it well.
Never
and Paul
does.
didn't understand. Paul.
Yes.
He punches Paul.
Yeah, how about that?
was
And
rough.
then Paul has such a great line. He comes to Kevin's house, gives him a gift,
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
like, "It's an underwater watch. I hope you drown," or something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
I was like,
great.
"Oh man."
He's got some good jokes in his later
Paul's
years.
parents must have made him go get
Oh,
him
yeah,
this
of
gift,
course.
too.
Of course.
And I can't believe that they let Kevin walk at graduation, though. If you punched someone on the last day of school or last couple
That's
of
the
days,
70s. They didn't care.
well, we would have been.
They didn't have any kind of, like,
because we
zero
can't
tolerance
expel
stuff.
You, we wouldn't have let you walk. That would have been your punishment. And so I
Wow.
was shocked that he was allowed
Yeah, they
to
let
walk.
him walk.
So but the other part of this episode is that
Miss White.
Miss White's back.
Pregnant Miss Heimer.
Miss
Mrs.
Heimer.
Heimer.
Mrs. Heimer. Oh, that's right. He goes to the hospital with her.
Yeah, 'cause
drives her to the hospital.
Kevin's upset, and he's
Right.
walking around. Mrs. Heimer / Miss White shows up, and it's like really weirdly, "Hey, let's talk in the car" type of thing.
Yeah.
All of this was icky to me
Yeah.
as a teacher.
Well,
I had a
different time.
whole problem
I
with
feel
it.
I get
Especially
it.
because she knew that Kevin had a crush on her.
He told her at one point,
Right,
didn't
right.
he?
Yes.
She's not even the teacher
I
there
know.
anymore.
No, she's a teacher.
She's a teacher, but not. She's a teacher at the middle school, though. Oh no, he is graduating from middle school. I keep forgetting.
because
that.
She was returning though. That was the whole thing. She was
No.
like, she
No.
hadn't been there.
No, they see her in the hall and they wave, but
Yeah, she's been there.
She was a 7th grade teacher, and he's in 9th grade, so he doesn't see her that often.
Okay,
And,
that was not clear to me. Then, I guess.
and they're like, "Oh, she looks different. Yeah, she's pregnant."
Yeah, she turns around and you see her big
and
red
then
belly.
she goes into labor in the car, and Kevin has to drive it.
Yeah.
A stick. Kevin has to drive a stick. What? No.
No, that didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
Although
this is another.
you
one I
gotta
was
figure though,
ignoring.
everybody in his life did drive stick. Everybody in our lives doesn't drive stick. That's why we can't do it, right?
I mean,
if
I've
you ever
watched
saw his
people-
dad
I
drive
guess.
Wayne, not that Wayne's a good driver, but you know,
Yeah, I guess this
Makes a little more sense.
more realistic.
yeah.
So
Than
he's
not,
the
but-
hero, and he realizes that he has to grow up, and
Mm-hmm.
now he realizes that things are going to change, and he is on board with Paul.
Paul gives us a great graduation
Great
speech.
graduation
Of course,
speech.
we expected
you
that.
You have all the great shots of the different people. You have
Yeah.
Becky Slater. You have Coach.
I love the
Ben
teacher
Stein's back.
Ben
goodbyes.
Stein. You have the
the
bully
teacher
that
goodbyes.
you don't like walking
Yep,
across
Tony's
stage.
there.
I
He
did
finally
it.
made it.
He
I
finally made it.
Finally
I was thinking to
graduated.
myself, I'm
Yeah.
like, how old do you think this kid is actually supposed to be? And I was guessing probably 16. I think it's like two and a half to 3 years.
Yeah.
We had a kid in our school that started out. Now my brother's a year ahead of me. He started out a year ahead of him, and graduated a year behind me. He stayed back 3 different years, so he graduated at I think 20.
I knew a girl.
So I mean, it happens.
We were 13 and she was 15 in middle school.
Yeah,
and I never saw her
God
after
bless.
that. I remember that, and then obviously all of our life skills kids are allowed to stay to 21, so that doesn't count.
That doesn't really count. Yeah. But yeah, no, good finale. I consider this the season finale.
It was a decent finale episode, but I was still annoyed.
And I thought they ended it well, like the 3 of them all there together.
Yeah, very nice.
So question.
Yes.
Did they think that this was going to be the end of the...
No.
No?
No.
Because wasn't one season on a different network, or is it...
No, it's all ABC.
All on the same,
Yep.
okay.
Because I felt like that would have been a great series finale.
Yeah.
And then I feel like this clip montage that we have at the end, I thought...
Could have been like how when Seinfeld did the clip show at the end.
Yeah.
So
I guess so, but I mean, as far as I remember, the ratings were still pretty good. I don't think it was like a on the bubble show or anything.
Okay. And are we going to talk about the clip thing at all? Because I thought...
Tell us all about the clip thing.
I thought for a clip show, this is probably one of the better clip shows.
It wasn't bad.
Because it wasn't a Friends clip show where they had one every season.
Yes.
Where it was kind of like they had some type of story going on, and then they were like, oh, what about this Thanksgiving?
That's what the clip show at the end of season 5 is.
Or what about this? Like and like they just show the best of, and they just re-show stuff.
Friends was about the last era of a show that did that, but God, that was so common in the 80s.
But I feel like this wasn't like that as much. I feel like it was kind of
more
like
of an actual retrospective.
It's a retrospective
a standalone episode
of it.
Yeah,
and it was kind of like.
See, I almost like the way Friends does it better. Whereas an arc,
you like a framing device.
I want a framing device.
Okay. You'll love season 5's flashback show then.
I sort of watched this, and I half watched this. I turned it on, I'd like watch a little bit, and then I'd be like, okay, I've seen this scene, I know what this is going.
Yeah.
But when you said Seinfeld's end one, I like that even better.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love a series overview retrospective.
That was edited.
Because I kind of felt like that was kind of like a
yeah, no, I definitely.
It was a lot more in it than I thought you could even put in a clip show. It was a lot.
Yeah, they put a lot in there.
Yeah. And I felt like the montage at the end with the song, I thought that was great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's certainly even if it was renewed or whatever, this is certainly the end of an era for the show.
Yeah.
They're graduating. Paul's moving on to a different school. Karen's out of the house. So it does make sense. But no, I'm pretty sure the ratings were pretty solid for this. So I'm sure it was picked up. All right.
Do you want to very briefly talk about the what we missed that is happening right now that happened last week on TV?
Oh,
in case you want to go check it out.
The old what is it? Wednesday of Wonder or something. What was it called?
I think they called it like Wonder Years
Wednesday. So, Tim, last week on Wednesday, so the Connors, Fred Savage has had a couple of episode role as a therapist. And so he was on this past Wednesday. So I did my Connors review. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Great to see Fred Savage back. So then I watched Home Economics, and Danica McKellar, who plays Winnie, was doing a guest spot on Home Economics. Then I watched The New Wonder Years, and they played the theme song. The dad's a musician, Dule Hill, and so he played the theme song. So then Melissa told me that the Goldbergs had a Wonder Years. It was a whole theme night.
I tape it, and you don't tape it, so you don't watch all the.
No, I just watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, so you don't see the in between things.
Right.
So it was a Wonder Years Wednesday thing. So I'm seeing like 1 minute of extra episodes, and then coming next. So I haven't actually watched the Home Economics, but it was like, coming next, Danica McKellar guest star
it's really
on
cool.
This. And they had a whole Wonder Years bit as the tag for the Goldbergs.
Oh, okay.
And it was really interesting. I try to remember. They were like watching the Wonder Years and then like kind of making
You said they were like
fun of
talking
it,
about which
but then
character they thought they were or whatever.
Well, they
Something
were
like
talking
that.
about, like, each character was saying something about, like, oh, yeah, that son is, well, this son's the main character because...
Oh, okay.
They were each talking
About themselves,
yeah.
right.
So, I don't watch the Goldbergs, but I kind of want to go back and watch that episode just to kind of see...
I wonder if it was a whole Wonder Years theme to the episode.
So, it was a whole theme for the day, so if you wanted to watch all 4 of those, that would have been Wednesday, October 13th.
Yes.
So, check it out.
Good times. It's great to see everybody still acting, by the way. I love when Danica McKellar pops up in anything. I know she does a lot of like the Hallmark movies or Lifetime movies, but yeah, she's playing like a I don't know, principal or whatever. But all right, that's it. I mean, I think we've talked long enough. Let's grade this season. Again, I do think this is a step down from season 3. We had a couple of duds in there, but not a huge decline. I think more in line with maybe what we've seen in the first couple seasons.
I'm going B+.
Yeah, I was going to go B+ with this as well. Tim, straight B for you?
No, I mean, for me, the only real dud was probably
The dentist.
The dentist one.
Yeah, it was
because
rough.
Even though
You like the dog episode.
I like the dog episode, even though some of it doesn't really make sense in our minds of today. I still could really connect with it. But other than that, I don't think there was any episode that I would just like get rid of. I thought they were all poignant, so I would go with B+ as well.
Okay,
that's
just, good.
You don't have the math class story arc, like
I mean the biggest arc here was Madeline, which is fine.
I thought that was fine.
Yeah,
I thought it was
fine.
well done.
But it's no math teacher.
Well,
it's no math teacher.
And the Winnie relationship too.
But that's always a through line.
Yeah, that's a through line,
right? I mean, every season has that.
I guess.
And I do think that my biggest complaint of Kevin in the last couple seasons is he's very wishy-washy.
He's growing up with that.
I don't think he was wishy-washy this season. He's on board. He likes Winnie, and that's really all he like. There's temptation out there, but he avoids it. And then, I mean, he has that crush on like the dentist person, but like.
But that was never going to happen. That wasn't real.
But everybody has crushes.
Yes.
So.
All right. So B+ for you.
B+.
All right. And y'all know that scrot is short for scrotum. We know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, the ABC censors didn't, and that's why they were allowed to say it. One of the interviews in season 4 was with Jason Hervey, who plays Wayne, and he was going on and on about how we couldn't believe that they let the first scrote go, so we just kept saying it.
Every time he says it, I'm like,
and nobody in ABC figured out that it meant scrotum. I knew as a kid when I watched it.
That
and Butthead, of course, all the time.
That Jack doesn't smack him every time he does. Every time he says scrotum, I'm just like. This is an era where you would have gotten slapped upside the head for that. Like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
They're always Wayne just never gets in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I bring that up because now that they're getting a little bit older, he doesn't say it as much in these last couple of years as he did.
Gosh,
but that was ABC had no idea what that meant.
That's really, really funny. And I always I feel like Butthead's kind of not realistic, but sort of realistic, but this is all they can get away with, but they can say this other thing. It's weird. And so now
Butthead they got away with too. I think that's because Back to the Future said it.
My question is, was it a big insult back in the 60s, 70s? Or, because I feel like no one says it anymore.
I don't know. Well, for a while it was huge with Beavis and Butthead, but... that was 90s, obviously.
Yeah, no one says it anymore because they say...
Now they say...
Very more vulgar things.
Yeah, that's probably true. All right.
Yeah, but all right. I just wanted to check if you guys knew what that meant.
Yes,
because I sure did. All right, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in a few weeks, I guess, for season 5 and hopefully season 6 before the end of the year. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll see everybody next time. Bye.